So today I'm here to tell you a story about the time that I got rejected from a job, a teaching position that I applied for. And the reason why I applied for this position is because of the location. It was the school that I was applying at was near my house, and me, I don't have a car and I don't know how to drive, and I tried to learn driving, but I wasn't successful at it. And I don't have money to buy a car, so, and I also don't have money, I'm broke. So, Uber is out of the question. So, I needed to apply to a job where I can just walk. I can just walk to and from there. And I found the perfect job for it at a school near my house. I could go there easily and I could teach there, and the hours were really good. I can just go early in the morning and be home by afternoon. And I think as an autistic person, I think it was the perfect job for me, even though I did not particularly want to teach. I don't think I'm a good teacher, but because of the convenience, I was happy to apply to that job. So I got ready. I was a bit nervous because as an autistic person, interviews are like one of my pet peeves. I just get really nervous before interviews. I have given interviews before that and I always end up bombing them. Not because of me, but it's usually always the employer saying things like, we like that you're hardworking, you're committed, you're consistent, and you have a good, honest personality, but you don't seem to get along with other people. Or they would say things like, I don't think you're a good fit here. Maybe try this place or try doing this. Maybe this would be a better fit for you. Something along those lines. So I came to that job interview anticipating something like that. So fast forward, I get ready. I'm nervous, but I try to mask my nervousness as well as I can. I had already rehearsed the interview, the questions they may ask and stuff like that, like 100 times in my head, even at home. So I had a script ready. So I went there and the interview went nicely. They just asked me a couple of questions about my past, my work experience, and my personality. It was just things like that. But I was honest to them from the start because first impressions are important, and I wanted to make an honest impression. I didn't want to hide anything from them, so I let them know I didn't say that I was autistic, but I did say that I am an introvert and I'm not a very social person, and it takes time for me to open up a little. But I am a very hardworking, consistent, punctual person, and I love routines. So that's how the interview went, and I negotiated a salary. It was pretty low. I mean, it's a teaching position. I don't expect it to pay me really well, but which is why I wanted to have a job which I can just walk to it instead of having an Uber, because calling an Uber would just eat up half of my paycheck. So I wouldn't have much money left after all. And why else do you find a job if not for money? So I knew that, and this was perfect. And they were like, we were gonna keep you on a 3-day trial period and to find out if you're a good fit for this job, if you can keep up with the demand. And they said that because I didn't have any prior teaching experience before that, I looked for this job right out of graduation, so I didn't have any experience, but they were willing to give me a 6-month training for teaching as well. And it would they wouldn't pay me during the training period, which I was fine with that. I was just happy to get some experience, so they were even willing to do that. So I was like, okay, I have these 3 days to make a good impression, to let these people know that I am fit for this job. So I went there tomorrow. I was, made sure that I looked clean, professional, polished. And on my first day, I just sat with all the other teachers, and I was pretty early there, so not a lot of people were there, but slowly the teachers started to coming up, and I was very curious. I tried to position myself as somebody who's willing to learn and be open, and ask questions about like the other teachers and their experiences being at this institution. And that's how my first day went. Whatever tasks they gave me, as I didn't have any teaching tasks, but they did give me a few things to do around the school, so I would try to be as best as I possibly could, just doing things and just showing them that I'm committed and I do have the skills and I'm willing to learn and things like that. On the second day, I noticed that some teachers, they were a bit curious about me. So the first thing that they would do, they would come up to me and ask me things like, why are you so quiet? And why are you always keeping to yourself? Even though I thought that I was being open and I was trying to be as extroverted as I possibly could be, even with all of that, I feel like this sense that I was a bit withdrawn. And I mean, I'm trying my best. So maybe I was not masking well enough, but that is what the complaint that they have. And also, they had a complaint about my accent for some reason. So I was like, I'm just new here and I'm just testing the waters, just observing my surroundings and just trying to be more comfortable. I am somebody who's slow to get comfortable and open up, but over time I can be very easygoing and laid back and be very, very social too. Um, that's what I told anybody who would come up to me and say why I'm a bit withdrawn. Me, I just like to focus on the task that I'm given and just be very detail oriented and just focus on getting the task done as well as I can. So that was my focus. And on the third day, it was a good day. I did everything that they asked me to do, but I was starting to see some problems over there with, like, I feel like teachers were not treating the students really well. Like, sometimes they would scold them, and I didn't like that. I feel like it triggered my PTSD a little bit. I did not have a good time in school, especially as a different or weird kid. So I noticed that working in a place like that could be a little bit triggering, especially since I was bullied when I was a kid in school. But I was willing to push through anything because I really, really wanted this job. This was the only option that I could see around me. And there was another job that I applied to, but I'll talk about that a little bit, that I didn't get. But on the third day, my 3-day trial period was over, and I was really hoping that they were impressed with me. So I talked to the principal who had my interview, and they uh, were there to give me some feedback on my performance. And the principal started off by saying that they really like my work ethic, that I'm honest, that I am very detail oriented, and I can focus on any task that I'm given, and that I'm a very talented artist, because that was the position that I applied for, was being an art teacher. So they were happy and impressed with those things. And the only problem that they had was the thing that I talked about in the beginning. Like, they said that I came off as a bit withdrawn and that I wasn't getting along with the teachers really well, even though I did not have any drama or any beef with any of the teachers. I barely even knew them. But they said that I came across as a bit socially withdrawn, and I did tell them about that in the beginning. But I don't know, I feel like they were looking for some kind of excuse, but like a socially acceptable excuse to tell me that I'm not fit for this job. They did let me know that we didn't have any teaching positions available specifically for arts, and I didn't know that personally, but I did know that they need an art teacher. So I don't know why she told me that all the positions were filled up. She said that we do have another like a branch or franchise, not the franchise of this school in another location, which is not so far from here, but it is a little far. Like, I would need to drive there, and I could apply over there, and they would be more than willing to give me a teaching position over there. But they could not keep me here because there was no job vacancy available, even though they were willing to train me to be a teacher there. I don't know why they said that, but they said that we don't have a job position available for you right now, but you can come back later. You can keep in contact with us. We'll let you know as soon as there is a position available. We'll call you and you can come back and we can like start right away. But they were not willing to give me the teaching position right away over there. And at this point, I was feeling so defeated and disappointed, and I could just feel my heart beating a little faster, and I could feel myself like choking up a little, like tears started to form in my eyes. I could just feel my face feeling very hot and red. But I was like, I can't break down here because that's not a good look. They already think that I'm not a good fit, and if I start crying, they would see that I'm not a resilient person and I cannot take criticism. And that is like not a good look when you're looking for a job. So I was like, I will hold in all of my tears, and as soon as I get home, I will let it all out. But I have to compose myself here, and I don't know how, but somehow I was able to compose myself and just keep a straight face and say thank you. I'm very grateful for your time, and I would love to keep in touch with you. Please let me know as soon as you have a job vacancy, and I'm sure that you would be happy to work with me, right? So I just give like a typical bullshit response that you're supposed to, and then I came home. I just walked all the way to my house, and as soon as I got home, I got into my room, and in my room I have this little closet, and it's my safe space. So in my room I have this like little closet, which is, you can see my username on YouTube. It's called Girl in a Closet, and it literally means like a closet. Like, closet is my safe space. And so I went and sat inside my closet. I closed the door, turned all the lights off, and I just breathed really loud, and all the tears just flow. Like, they just flowed from my eyes like a waterfall. And I was just so disappointed and withdrawn and just felt so terrible. I just couldn't stop crying, and I was like, like, this is something that I expected was going to happen, because this is not the first time that something like this has happened to me, and now it has happened to me again, and this is gonna keep happening to me. Like, how the hell am I supposed to find a job when every job I go to, they don't have any problem with me personally? Like, they think that I'm an honest, hardworking, willing to learn person. It's always just something that outside of my control that is the problem. Just because I'm not like a social butterfly, that doesn't mean that it should cost me a job opportunity, but that is what keeps happening. And another story that I want to share with you is before I applied for this job, I applied for a job as a cashier in a grocery store, and I was willing to take any position, even if they don't give me a cashier position. I was willing to take, like, like stocking shelves, things like that. And it was also near my house, so again, it was convenient. I wouldn't need to Uber or anything like that. That's why I went for this position. And I polished my resume as well as I could and tried to appear as professional as I possibly could, even though I was nervous out of my mind when I went in to meet the owner of that grocery store. And like, they asked me, like, the grocery store owner, he seemed nice, and he wanted to ask if I had any prior job experience. And unfortunately, I didn't have any job experience, so maybe it was because that they like outright rejected me. But I, in my resume, with my experience, in my uh, credentials, I think I made it pretty clear that I'm somebody who's punctual, who's willing to learn, and I'm somebody who's very hardworking and very honest. And I think that he got that from me as well. Like, he said that I look like I'm an honest person, I'm a genuine person, and I'm willing to learn on the go. But they said that I need to come back later, and like, I cannot, they cannot give me this position right now because it's out of their hands, that they need to make sure that it was the boss of that grocery store owner. They're the one who decide finally, like, who gets the job, and it's outside of my control and stuff like that. And they did say that, they will like, get my phone number, and they will call me and let me know shortly if I get the job. And as usual, I come back home and I'm a bit nervous, as it, like, just scared if I'm gonna get this position. But of course, I did not get any call back. Like, they didn't even call me back to let me know that I did not get this job position. So I was like, oh, okay, so I don't get this job either. At least they didn't lie to my face and say, oh, we're not hiring you because you seem socially withdrawn. I just chucked it up to just not having prior job experience. But like, I applied at this job when I was around 23, right? Like, out of graduation. Once I graduated, like, how the hell was I supposed to have a job experience before that? And yes, you could work before, like, during my high school years, and like while I was at university and things like that, and maybe that would help me get some job experience. But unfortunately, I was dealing with my mental health at that time. It was really, really bad, and I had really bad social anxiety at the time. So unfortunately, I was not able to capitalize on having an early job experience. But just to let you know that if you're an autistic person, even if you are competent, you're good at your job, and you're an honest, hardworking person, because of your social inconsistencies and you not getting along with everybody and just being socially withdrawn, just on those reasons alone, people will just pass you over for a job opportunity. Like, you may not get the job just for that one reason. And I was reading a statistic the other day about autistic people and them not getting jobs, And it said that 80% of autistic people, even like educated college uh, educated autistic people, people who are qualified and have skills, 80% of them are underemployed. Unemployed, underemployed, I don't exactly remember. In the rest of the 15% who do have jobs, they are also, I think underemployed was the word, or they just said that even if you're in the minority and you're lucky, like you're probably masking really heavily, and you're probably having issues at work as well, and you probably don't have accommodations. And like being autistic and getting a job, it's just so hard and it's very difficult. And it's just why my plan is to just not apply for any job after this. I'm just gonna make put all of my work and all of my attention and all of my effort into making sure that this YouTube thing works out and I'm able to get my channel monetized as fast as I can and start making some money over here, and also work on my side business with my coloring books. And if you want to support me, I will link my Amazon author account down in the description if you want to check out my books. I don't have many books published yet. My goal first is to make sure that I get monetized on YouTube. I just want to focus on one thing at a time. This is my number one priority right now, is to get monetized. And as soon as I get monetized over here, I'm gonna start shifting my focus towards my business and make sure that that's also up and running. But make sure to watch this video all the way through to really help me with my watch time, because I already got 1.5k subscribers, so that's not the main issue. The main issue is just having watch time, which is 4,000 hours watch time in 365 days. So that is the only requirement that I need. So make sure that you watch this video all the way through. If you rewatch it, I would be so grateful. If you rewatch it, if you just play it in the background, just getting those hours will really help me reach my goals of monetization as fast as I can, because now I realize that that is the only option I have to be financially independent, is to just focus on this online thing, because I've tried the traditional route and nobody wants to hire me. And I'm not saying that I'm giving up. If a good opportunity presents itself, I would try again, but I won't get my hopes up, and I would not delude myself into thinking that like I'm gonna fit in this job world, because I really won't. And most people will not accept me with my flaws, and I will constantly have to mask my autistic traits, and even then I will fail. And it's just a sad situation. So I really hope this YouTube channel works out, and I hope that you guys will help me get there. Please let me know in the comments if you have any suggestion, if you have any personal experiences with jobs and things like that, if you're autistic. And if you're autistic and you do have a job and you somehow were the part of the 15%, like I would love to hear your experience too. How is your job going? Do you have accommodations? Are you fitting in well? Would love to hear your stories. And make sure to like this video and subscribe and watch the video all the way through, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.